African Americans or Latinos. President Trump is trying to appeal to these communities by promising stronger law enforcement, including deploying the National Guard. But his plan faces stiff resistance from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson.
For 13 consecutive years, Chicago has had the most murders of any U.S. city. This is J.B. Pritzker's legacy, by the way. For 7 consecutive years, Chicago has had the highest murder rate among U.S. cities, with more than 1 million people. In 2024, just last year, Chicago's murder rate per capita was 3 times higher than Los Angeles and nearly 5 times higher than New York City. That's more than double the murder rate in Islamabad and nearly 15 times more than Delhi.
And in news from the US, 200 National Guard troops have arrived in Illinois, the most visible sign yet of the Trump administration's plan to send troops to Chicago area despite a lawsuit and vigorous opposition from Democratic elected leaders. Now, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has posted a photo of troops boarding a C-17 Globemaster III military aircraft with the caption, "Ever ready, deploying now," as partisans on both sides of the political and ideological divide accused each other of inciting a civil war, invoked the 1861 clash when an estimated 750,000 people died to forge what was supposed to be a more perfect union. In fact, Randy Fine, a Republican congressman from Florida, said in a social media post that the country is getting awfully close to 1861. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson even wrote, "The right wing in this country wants a rematch of the Civil War." The president has declared war on the people of Chicago and people across the U.S. The development comes after a federal judge of Illinois declined to immediately block the National Guard deployment while scheduling a full hearing for Thursday. In contrast to another judge who temporarily halted a deployment in Portland, Trump warned that he would use the Insurrection Act if states and other cities hinder the deployment process. President Trump has already sent troops onto the streets of Los Angeles and Washington, D.C., highlighting the scale of crime to justify those deployment. A Pentagon official on condition of anonymity said that if troops from Texas were sent as part of a mission to protect federal functions, then personnel and property, adding that the guardsmen have been mobilized for an initial period of 60 days. The troops were seen on Tuesday at a military facility in Elwood, southwest of Chicago.
And tensions escalate in Chicago as an immigration and customs enforcement agent fatally shot a suspect in a suburb, coinciding with protests against increased immigration arrests. Well, according to U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the suspect tried to evade arrest by driving his car at the officers and dragged one of them. The department also stated that the officer felt a threat to his life and opened fire. Immigration advocates in the Chicago area hit out at the Immigration and Customs Enforcement and the Trump administration and condemned the shooting incident. They called for transparency and accountability of ICE actions.
And we are devastated by this news because we have seen ICE has ramped up its racial profiling and unconstitutional policing in Illinois. And these tactics have led to a loss of life of one of our community members. And he is not the first, and unfortunately, we don't know if he will be the last.
Protesters gathered outside an ICE detention facility in Broadview, a suburb that's west of Chicago, to denounce the Trump administration's increased crackdown on undocumented immigrants in Illinois. Demonstrators confronted ICE agents, voicing their opposition to the administration's policies. They also demanded the facility's closure and denounced inhumane conditions and aggressive immigration enforcement tactics. Since President Trump took office, ICE has intensified its mass deportation efforts nationwide, targeting major cities like Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and now Chicago. Trump's administration has likened these efforts to combating crime, citing successes in Washington, D.C., where crime rates reportedly decreased following a multi-agency surge. In Chicago, the operation, dubbed Operation Midway Blitz, aimed to target illegal immigrants.
Tensions escalated in Chicago as an immigration and customs enforcement agent fatally shot a suspect in a suburb, coinciding with protests against increased immigration arrests. Now, according to U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the suspect tried to evade arrest by driving his car at the officers and drugged one of them. The department also stated that the officer felt a threat to his life and opened fire. Immigration advocates in the Chicago area hit out at the Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Trump administration and condemned the shooting incident. They called for transparency and accountability.
And we are devastated by this news because we have seen ICE has ramped up its racial profiling and unconstitutional policing in Illinois. And these tactics have led to a loss of life of one of our community members. And he is not the first, and unfortunately, we don't know if he will be the last.
Protesters gathered outside an ICE detention facility in Broadview, a suburb west of Chicago, to denounce the Trump administration's increased crackdown on undocumented immigrants in Illinois. Demonstrators confronted ICE agents, voicing their opposition to the administration's policies. They also demanded a facility's closure and denounced inhumane conditions and aggressive immigration enforcement tactics. Since President Trump took office, ICE has intensified its mass deportation efforts nationwide, targeting major cities like Los Angeles, D.C., and now Chicago. Trump's administration has linked these efforts to combating crime, citing successes in D.C., where crime rates reportedly decreased following a multi-agency surge. In Chicago, the operation dubbed Operation Midway Blitz aims to target illegal immigrants.
And President Donald Trump has threatened to unleash his newly rebranded Department of War on Chicago. Well, Trump's latest message on Chicago came via a Truth Social post that included a quote and an image invoking the film Apocalypse Now. Well, Trump wrote that Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War. The post featured an apparent AI image of Trump, and I quote, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning," both references to the 1979 film Apocalypse Now. On Friday, Trump signed an order changing the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War. The Democratic governor of Illinois, where Chicago is located, voiced outrage at Trump's post. Governor J.B. Pritzker.
I'm Major Garrett in Washington, inviting you to the Takeout. Politics, policy, people, and pop. Politics, policy, people, and pop culture served up weeknights. What's on the menu? Plenty. The day is happening with curiosity, informality, and humor. It's serious discussion, but we do not take ourselves too seriously. Who is a better speaker, Mike Johnson or you? Oh, come on. Join on the Takeout. Streaming right here on CBS News 24/7.
It's Friday, October 10th, 2025. This is CBS News Mornings. Historic breakthrough. The Israeli cabinet signs off on President Trump's peace plan to end the war with Hamas and bring home the remaining hostages. The president and hundreds of American troops now set to head to the region. Indicted. The Justice Department slapping New York's Attorney General, one of President Trump's fiercest critics, with criminal charges. Her vow to fight back in court. Breaking overnight, a powerful earthquake strikes off the southern Philippines, triggering a tsunami warning. The death and damage reports just coming in. And weekend washout from tropical rains to a potential nor'easter. Millions of Americans across the country are facing the threat of downpours, strong winds, and flooding. Good morning. I'm Carissa Lawson in for Michael George. We start with the new developments in the Middle East, where it appears the two-year Gaza war may be nearing an end. Israel's government formally approved the deal with Hamas earlier this morning. And according to the agreement, the ceasefire is expected to begin immediately. The Israeli military now has 24 hours to pull back its forces. President Trump says he'll travel to the Middle East on Sunday. And then the exchange of Israeli hostages for Palestinian prisoners is expected to begin on Monday. CBS's Bradley Blackburn joins us now. And Bradley, the U.S. is also sending hundreds of troops to Israel to help support the ceasefire, correct?
Right, Carissa, but those troops won't be going to Gaza. They will be close by, though, to provide extra muscle for this delicate agreement. And with phase one set to start, President Trump is now giving hints about what he wants to happen next. Massive smoke plumes filled Gaza's skies hours after Israel's government approved the phase one ceasefire framework with Hamas that includes the release of all remaining Israeli hostages in exchange for the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners.
We couldn't have achieved it without the extraordinary help of President Trump and his team.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with U.S. negotiators, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner ahead of his government's vote.
Combined military and diplomatic pressure that isolated the Hamas, I think, has brought us to this point.
Israel is now tasked with pulling back its military forces to an agreed-upon line within a certain time frame. Hamas is expected to turn over the remaining 48 hostages, both alive and deceased, early next week.
The hostages will be coming back Monday or Tuesday. I hope to be there.
President Trump says he plans to leave Sunday for the Middle East, where he says he'll attend the official signing of the Phase 1 agreement in Egypt and deliver an address to Israel's parliament in Jerusalem. When asked what Phase 2 next steps might look like, the president had this to say.
There will be disarming, there will be pullbacks.
Around 200 U.S. service members are headed to the region to support and monitor implementation of the ceasefire agreement, though administration officials say U.S. troops will not enter Gaza. As part of the deal, Hamas leaders say Israel will release 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and open border crossings with Egypt to allow aid to get into Gaza. A UN official says more than 100,000 tons of medicine and other supplies are ready to go once that happens. Carissa?
Bradley Blackburn with the very latest for us. Thank you. Another one of President Trump's political foes gets indicted and facing criminal charges now, the second one in as many weeks. This time, it's New York Attorney General Letitia James, who had successfully brought a civil fraud case against Donald Trump. The federal prosecutor who secured the indictment is the same one who charged former FBI Director James Comey. CBS's Erica Brown reports from the White House.
New York Attorney General Letitia James was indicted Thursday by a federal grand jury in the Eastern District of Virginia and is charged with one count of bank fraud and one count of making false statements to a financial institution. The 5-page indictment alleges James made false statements related to her 2020 purchase of a home in Norfolk, Virginia to secure more favorable interest rates. James denies any wrongdoing and in a video statement says she will aggressively fight the charges she calls a weaponization of the justice system.
These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost.
Last year, Letitia James secured a civil judgment of hundreds of millions of dollars against then former President Trump and his business for fraudulently inflating real estate assets, but an appeals court later tossed out the judgment. Last month, President Trump publicly urged Attorney General Pam Bondi to look into James, former FBI Director James Comey, and California Democratic Senator Adam Schiff, who is also under investigation by the Justice Department.
All Americans should be concerned about this kind of raw abuse of the power of the Justice Department.
James's indictment comes just 2 weeks after a grand jury also indicted Comey on charges of lying to Congress. Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
James's first court appearance is set for October 24th. Illinois and the city of Chicago won their first round in their battle with the Trump administration over military boots on the ground. A federal judge in Chicago blocked the deployment of National Guard troops in the state for 2 weeks, citing no significant evidence of a, quote, danger of rebellion. Texas sent hundreds of troops to Illinois as part of President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration and crime. CBS's Ian Lee is there.
You can hear the screams in this cell phone video as several officers, some of them wearing face coverings, forcibly removed 2 women from their vehicle in front of a Chicago elementary school.
My name is Jocelyn from Cicero. They don't have a warrant. They didn't ask for one. They forcefully opened the door to Trump.
Aaron McCollum recorded that video and spoke with CBS News on a video call.
What was going through your mind when you were seeing this arrest take place?
The only thing that was going through my mind was worry for the woman that I was seeing being taken out of the car.
You wanted to document the situation.
I definitely wanted to document it.
This video is just the latest in a standoff between the people of Chicago and federal authorities deployed to America's third largest city.
We're at a moment in which we have a federal government that has not only trampled on our Constitution, it has declared war on American cities.
Approximately 500 National Guard troops have been activated, with some deployed to protect the Federal ICE Processing Center in Broadview. Despite Chicago's recent drop in violent crime, President Trump's administration, along with the Department of Homeland Security, say federal agents and U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement facilities need protection from protesters.
Crime numbers in Chicago, they're through the roof, and I have a governor who stands up every day and tells us how wonderful Chicago is. Just a lie. It's like a con job.
We've reached out to ICE for information about Jocelyn, the woman in that cell phone video, and so far have not heard back. Ian Lee, CBS News, Broadview, Illinois.
Breaking overnight, a second powerful earthquake in 10 days has rocked the Philippines. This morning's 7.4 magnitude quake was centered off the coast of one of the nation's southern islands. Tsunami warnings were issued for both the Philippines and Indonesia. At least 2 people were killed. Last week, a 6.9 magnitude quake left dozens dead and damaged hundreds of homes. Back in the U.S., cities along the East Coast are preparing for a weekend coastal storm that could turn into a nor'easter. The I-95 corridor is expected to see heavy rains, strong winds with gusts of up to 60 miles an hour, and coastal flooding, too. Parts of the East Coast could see more than 5 inches of rain. Meantime, the southwestern U.S. is about to be soaked by moisture from Tropical Storm Priscilla. The system is expected to bring weekend flooding to parts of Arizona, Utah, New Mexico, and Colorado. Forecasters say some areas could see more rain this weekend than they do during the entire fall season. Wow. Well, coming up, terrifying sight. Police officers find a toddler running on a Florida highway in the middle of the night. And later, Drake's lawsuit over Kendrick Lamar's diss track. What a judge ruled in the heated rap battle.
No matter how you start your day, one thing is very clear.
CBS Mornings is the best way to start your day. Could this change the way that we think about vaccines?
Rent at an affordable level and invest.
Initiatives aimed at making infant formulas safer.
I love when we provide information like this to new parents.
CBS Mornings.
Weekdays at 7.
Do you believe this case could be solved?
Yes, I do.
I never would have guessed how this ended.
48 Hours, now streaming on CBS and Paramount Plus.
CBS Sunday night.
Here we go.
The ultimate tradition continues.
And what I've seen, it's like chaos.
America's longest-running news magazine show is back.
For 60 minutes!
60 minutes.
With a new season.
Hey, let's go.
You're willing to talk about anything. I'm open to all of it.
Ask me the hard-hitting questions.
So how do you get over the nerves?
Honestly, it's a whole bunch of mind
The most influential people.
Who's the best coach in college football? Let me see a mirror so I can look at it.
Are you a billionaire yet?
None of your business, man. You trying to get me robbed?
Investigative journalism.
Am I getting a real look at what life is like in here today? Absolutely not.
Do you think people visiting know that these were looted?
When stories threaten our way of life, 60 Minutes demands answers.
This is the pager that Hezbollah was using.
Do you have hope that you may find him yet?
They were asking me to do something that was illegal.
They're fighting for faulty parts?
Yeah. What is the most important takeaway for our audience?
How big of a problem is doping?
Where was the military?
Why are people suspicious?
That sounds like a problem.
How is this possible?
Oh, come on.
Come on.
Whoa.
Wow.
What is going on?
I'm Scott Pelley. I'm John Worthy.
I'm Leslie Stahl.
I'm Bill Whitaker.
I'm Sharon Alfonsi.
I'm Cecilia Vega.
I'm Anderson Cooper.
This is 60 Minutes.
The CBS News original.
Showtime, baby.
It's time for 60 Minutes Sunday on CBS. Don't miss a minute. Now streaming.
I can see clearly.
CBS Mornings Plus, clearly more news, more smart conversation,
More money-saving tips, more recipes.
more uplifting ways to get you on your way.
Plus, more sports, more weather.
Clearly more CBS Mornings.
Plus,
Sunshine.
I'm Major Garrett in Washington, inviting you to The Takeout. Politics, policy, people, and pop culture served up weeknights. What's on the menu? Plenty. The day's happenings with curiosity and formality and humor. It's serious discussion, but we do not take ourselves too seriously. Who is a better speaker, Mike Johnson or you? Oh, come on. Join me on The Takeout. Streaming right here on CBS News 24/7.
When you need your sports in us now,
we're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
Find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
We're back now with a nighttime rescue on a Florida highway involving a toddler. The child, who police say has developmental delays, was spotted running in traffic and was nearly hit by an SUV in Northport. An officer managed to chase down the child. Police say the toddler's parents had all the safety mechanisms in place to prevent something like this, but the child somehow figured out how to get around it. A former Republican election official buys a voting equipment company and an execution gets halted. Those are some of the headlines on the morning newsstand. From the Texas Tribune, a stay is granted in what would have been the first U.S. execution in a shaken baby syndrome case. Robert Robertson was scheduled to die next Thursday, but a Texas appeals court ordered his case to be reviewed under a junk science law. Robertson was convicted of killing his 2-year-old daughter, who was diagnosed with shaken baby syndrome. In pausing his execution, the appeals court cited its own decision last year to overturn a shaken baby case due to new medical research. From the Orlando Sentinel, the accused arsonist charged with causing a deadly wildfire in California could face the death penalty. Jonathan Rinderneck remains held without bail in Florida, where he was arrested this week. He's accused of starting a brush fire, which eventually sparked into January's deadly Palisades fire. Prosecutors described Rinderneck as a loner who had also threatened to burn down his sister's house where he had been staying. And from CNN, a voting machine company falsely accused of rigging the 2020 presidential race has been sold to a firm run by a former GOP election official in Missouri.
Every Republican in the building is voting to open the government. The president wants to open the government. We need a few more Democrats because we only have 53 Republicans
is now known
in the Senate.
As Liberty Vote.
We got to
the
have a
company's new
handful
owner
of Democrats
once
to
led
join
the St.
and do the
Louis
right
Board
thing,
of
and I hope they
Elections.
will.
Among
We'll
his
keep you
proposed
posted.
changes,
Wait for
a
developments,
push
and
for
let's pray
paper
this ends soon.
ballots.
Thank you.
That's a move which aligns with President Trump's plans to remake the U.S. voting system. Still to come, a courageous cat,
and
a
once again,
hair-raising
we were
tale
listening into
of a
GOP
stowaway
leaders there
on a
yesterday
family's
on
road
Capitol
trip.
Hill, as we do await House Speaker Mike Johnson to speak today at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I also wanted to run through with you here just some of the live events that we are expecting from the White House today. So at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we do know President Trump will be departing the White House en route to Walter Reed National Military
Face the
Medical
nation
Center.
who
Once
try
again,
to
he is going to be
separate the
getting
noise
that
from the
physical exam,
news.
and we
You
may
need to
get
be
some
able to
comments
have
from the
an
president. We'll bring those to you. We are also expecting an announcement from First Lady Melania Trump. That's slated for 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We're also going to be hearing from Attorney General Pam Bondi delivering remarks on efforts to combat threats of political violence. That's going to be at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And last but not least, President Trump making an announcement at 5 p.m. today. So we're going to bring all those events to you here on Live Now from Fox as we do get them. 7:27 on the East Coast, 4:27 on the West Coast. You're watching Live Now from Fox, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Live Now from Fox. We continue to follow the latest out of the Middle East. The Israeli military saying today that the ceasefire agreement with Hamas came into effect at noon local time. That's 5 a.m. Eastern time, and that troops were withdrawing to the agreed upon deployment lines. The announcement came after Palestinians reported heavy shelling this morning in northern Gaza. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said early today that Israel's cabinet approved President Trump's plan for a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, the release of all remaining hostages and of Palestinian prisoners. The statement said the cabinet approved the outline of a deal to release the hostages without mentioning other aspects of the plan. While the approval marks a key step towards ending this war, the broader ceasefire plan includes many unanswered questions, including whether and how Hamas will disarm and who will govern Gaza. So there's that live look there this morning. We also do know large crowds of people who had gathered in central Gaza this morning started walking north after the military's announcement that a ceasefire had taken effect at noon local time. And there is that post there from the IDF that we have been referencing here. I also wanted to let you know we're keeping an eye on this live event slated to start here. This is going to be from the Israeli Defense Forces, as they are going to be having a press briefing. However, we're unclear as of right now whether that is going to be in English. Of course, if it is, we will bring it to you on Live Now from Fox as we stay on top of this story. Let's head back to the United States right now as you're taking a live look there in Chicago here after a judge yesterday blocked the deployment of National Guard troops in the Chicago area for at least 2 weeks, finding no substantial evidence that a, quote, danger of rebellion is occurring in Illinois during President Trump's immigration crackdown. The judge said the administration violated the 10th Amendment, which grants certain powers to states, and the 14th Amendment, which assures due process and equal protection. It wasn't clear what the troops will do now, including a small number outside a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement building in Broadview. Officials at the U.S. Northern Command directed questions to the Department of Defense, which declined to comment, citing a policy that the department doesn't comment on ongoing litigation. We did hear some comments yesterday from the Illinois Attorney General. I wanted to play those out for you in case you missed it on Live Now from Fox.
Guys all ready? I think today we witness why the system of justice exists, the importance of this building. Might I add, this building that doesn't need the protection of the National Guard right now. Our Constitution, our rule of law, the law that's laid out by Congress has to be respected by everybody to the extent that we continue to be the United States of America that our founding fathers thought we would be through time. And I think Judge Perry did a very careful job of weighing the evidence, weighing the credibility of the evidence and those declarations that served as the testimony to be considered as to whether or not the President of the United States could and should federalize and deploy the National Guard into our great city and our great state. And I think after doing so, she made the correct decision to enter a temporary restraining order. I'd like to thank the heroes behind me who have stood up not just for the citizens of the city of Chicago, citizens of the city of Broadview, citizens of the state of Illinois, but I might add that this is an important decision not just for the state of Illinois, but for the entire country. The question of state sovereignty was addressed in this decision. The question of whether or not the President of the United States should have unfettered authority to militarize our cities was answered today. And I want to thank every member of the legal team, those you see behind me who argued, who drafted carefully, and all those who supported them. Again, they are true American heroes. With that, I'll yield to any questions. There's a temporary restraining order that they should not be active within the state of Illinois. They're welcome to stay at our hotels if they pay the hotel rate. They're welcome to eat at our restaurants like any other American citizen. I should say that, you know, and this is something to be said to those who may frown upon those who have volunteered for the National Guard. I don't look negatively at any one of the individuals who have lent themselves to service in our country. So I said in jest, they're welcome to stay and shop and eat and so forth. But I don't frown upon any of one of those individuals, and I think our decision is one on their behalf as well, that they should not be turned against the very citizens that they volunteered to protect.
Sir, should be right? The ongoing protests that are taking place, and what do you think this will say to those who continue to go out?
That there is a First Amendment, that you have a right to peacefully protest. One of the things that the judge spoke to is the provocation of protesters, that the aggression was that we've witnessed was not coming necessarily from protesters. Certainly there are individual cases of, as the judge recognized, of people stepping out of line, but that there were pepper balls, tear gas being sprayed by, being fired by members of ICE or Border Patrol, and that provocation should not be used as a means to justify elevating to the deployment of the National Guard.
This mission has been described as 60 days, and the TRO lasts for 14 days. So logistically and legally speaking, what does the next 2 months then look like if they appeal?
We'll meet things as they come.
Now, there are still, though, Texas National Guard members in the state. If this order is, we don't want them here, how are you going to make them leave?
Well, I'm not physically going to be escorting people. The judge has ordered that the National Guard of the United States, whether they're from Texas or any other one of the 50 states, should not be deployed within the state of Illinois. So it is up to the defendants to make certain that they abide by the judge's order. It's not us.
The order was granted in part today, and my understanding is that the part that was not granted was like broader military, perhaps incorporation of the Insurrection Act. Are you still worried about that being used by Trump, and how do you feel about the type of, you guys think that's...
Listen, I'm worried about a lot with regards to his administration, and I've been responding to a lot. We have some 40 plus lawsuits, some of which we started preparing for and we could anticipate, and some actions that we could not anticipate. I can't anticipate. It's only been what, 8 or 9 months of this administration, while it seems like 10 years, it feels like we have 10 years worth of actions. I find no joy in challenging my own government. And so I think all of you would agree with me. The acts of this president and this government are unpredictable, so I can't predict what's going to happen in the future.
Just to clarify, do we have to be back here and do this all over again 14 days from now when the TRO expires? Or what do you anticipate will happen?
I can't predict what's going to happen tomorrow. I can't predict what's going to happen 2 days from now. I will tell you, I have a capable staff of attorneys who have been responding to various actions, and they've been working through the night. Again, they are American heroes. I'm proud of them. And, you know, unfortunately, they're ready for what may come next, and we will respond.
Is this going to take effect immediately, or is it tomorrow when the judge enters it officially?
No, today.
No.
Yeah, today.
Okay.
So
Immediately.
Can you explain what it actually means? Clarify what partial TRO means, what a partial judgment means in this case?
Like what part wasn't granted, I guess, is what I still don't understand.
What's in
We moved on 3 claims, granted on 1 claim as of right now. Which was Section 12406.
Okay. So in our complaint, we had multiple claims. You heard a lot about Section 12406. That is the claim upon which the TRO was granted. So that's the granted in part.
So you said we'll do one to the defendants to comply with TRO, but if you wake up tomorrow and National Guardsmen are still out in Broadview, and the administration says, we're just not going to pay attention to this, there are levers of power that you and the governor could, do together, or you could, provide the, say, legal backup for the governor to, say, employ the ISP to perhaps do something to remove these guardsmen or back up the added general.
Listen. We have been in litigation on a great number of issues. For example, there have been cases with regards to freezing of federal funds. In some of those cases, after we have had orders granted, we have had to go back into court to seek relief, and we have received such relief. And so we are not in the business of armed removal of National Guard people. So I just commented on it. Thank you.
Are you disappointed?
No, I'm not disappointed. I'm not disappointed at all. I think the judge did a very careful job of weighing all the evidence, questioning both us on behalf of the people of the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago, and questioning the federal government, weighing the evidence. And I want to reemphasize weighing the credibility. This was about credibility. You heard about the attempt, some of the declarations of acts, alleged acts against ICE officers where they sought out a grand jury indictment that was denied. There's an old saying about indicting a ham sandwich. The defendants in this case couldn't put together a ham sandwich. Thank you.
Okay, we gotta go.
And you're taking a live look there in Chicago, as we did hear just yesterday from the Illinois Attorney General there, after a judge yesterday blocked the deployment of National Guard troops in the Chicago area for at least 2 weeks. One of the stories we're following here on Live Now from Fox. Stepping away now for a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. And welcome in here to Live Now from Fox, taking you back out to one of our top stories here today, taking a live look there in Gaza after the Israeli military said today that the ceasefire agreement with Hamas came into effect at new local time. That announcement comes after Palestinians reported heavy shelling Friday morning in northern Gaza as well. We also have this post here from Special Envoy Steve Witkoff saying that the Israeli Defense Forces completed the first phase withdrawal to the Yellow Line at 12 p.m. local time. Now the 72-hour period to release the hostages has begun. So earlier today, Israel's cabinet approved President Trump's plan for a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip and the release of all the remaining hostages held by Hamas, which is a key step towards ending this war there in the Middle East. The broader ceasefire plan includes many unanswered questions, such as whether and how Hamas will disarm and who will govern Gaza. But both sides appeared closer than they have been in months to ending this war. We also do know that President Trump says the hostages will be released from Gaza on Monday or Tuesday. So President Trump opened a meeting with his cabinet at the White House yesterday by speaking about the ceasefire deal and his plans to travel to the Middle East. He said it is a complicated process for the hostages to be released from Gaza, but it will happen on Monday or Tuesday. And as we've been sharing here, another thing we're keeping an eye on today on Live Now from Fox, President Trump set to get a physical exam at Walter Reed before he does depart for this trip. So we're going to continue to monitor that as well, see if we get any comments from President Trump. What we also know about this, though, the U.S. is going to send about 200 troops to Israel to monitor the Gaza ceasefire deal. The troops will help support and monitor the deal in Gaza as part of a team that includes partner nations, non-governmental organizations, and private sector players. The officials who spoke on the condition of anonymity said U.S. Central Command is going to establish a civil-military coordination center in Israel that will help facilitate the flow of humanitarian aid as well as logistical and security assistance into the territory. So once again, we did just want to share this news here with you on Live Now from Fox. We will continue to follow this. We actually are getting a live press conference right now from the Israeli Defense Forces. However, it does not appear to be in English. There's that live look for you. We're listening in here to see if we do get any English comments. We'll bring them to you if we do. In the meantime, I want to head back to the White House here as we continue to follow some more news with the Trump administration. President Trump and Finnish counterpart Alexander Stubb sealed an agreement yesterday for the U.S. Coast Guard to acquire up to 11 icebreaker ships to bolster U.S. national security in the Arctic. I wanted to share those comments with the president here on Live Now from Fox.
The atmosphere in Finland in investments, and that's why we need good news. Our people need hope.
Right. So your border is closed.
It's closed.
And that's because you have so many Russians trying to get in?
Yes, they started to push illegal migrants to our border. That's why we were forced to close it.
And people also that don't want to go into the military, I guess, trying to come through, right?
Yeah, some of them are escaping. Fortunately, on our side, we don't have that problem. In Finland,
no, you have a great military.
We have compulsory military service, and as I always say, we have 900,000 men and women who've done it, including myself and the Prime Minister. We have 200.
And you've been fighting Russia for a long time. So how many years have you been indirectly fighting Russia?
Well, put it this way, we have managed our relationship since the 1300s with about 30 skirmishes, but it's been very peaceful at our border after World War II. Yeah, but it's been peaceful at our border since the Winter War and the War of Continuation. But, I mean, a lot of it is because we actually have a very large military. It's the biggest in Europe together with Turkey, Ukraine and Poland. We have over 60 F-18s. We just bought 64 F-35s. We'll roll out the first one in Texas in December. We have the biggest artillery in Europe together with Poland. And as I always say, we don't have it because we're worried about Stockholm.
Mm-hmm. Well, you really have proportionately, I think, the largest military in the world, proportionately.
It's quite big, yes, I have to admit. But, you know, we have it for defense purposes and also to build a deterrence. And it's worked. And I think that's one of the reasons that our relationship is so good as well. We have the Defense Cooperation Agreement with you. Right. We're new allies in NATO. Our defense expenditure is going north of 3%. We work very closely with you and the rest of our allies. And when you push the ceiling of defense expenditure in NATO to 5%, you can imagine that a country like Finland was quite pleased with that, because that means that all of the allies have to bring up their defense expenditure, and you basically increased our security just with that decision in The Hague. And I have to admit that having been to my first NATO summit in the summer of 2024, if someone would have told me that you will move from 2% to 5% after Trump enters, I would have said, go see a doctor. But
well, they had to do it, and you were great about it. Spain has not been. Spain is the one that didn't do it. And so I think you people are going to have to start speaking to Spain. The only one that didn't do it, the only NATO country that didn't do it is Spain. And you'll figure what that's all about, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll work, and I think with the leadership also, Mark Rutte, the Secretary General of NATO, I think, there are a lot of commitments that have to take place, and this, of course, is going to also increase industrial defense exchanges. I think we buy 4 times more military material here from the U.S., and I think it's an essential part of our whole military setup in Europe. And it's good to be working on this together. But there's one thing that I wanted to mention also. I want to congratulate you for what we have seen in the past 24 hours in Gaza.
Thank you.
I think it's a historic deal. I went through the 20 points. It's almost like the best of record. You really see all the key elements. And if someone would have said a few weeks back that you and your team are able to push us to a position where there will be a ceasefire, an exchange of prisoners, hostages, and then a pullback, I would not have believed it. But this is what diplomacy is at its best, and I think it's a potentially huge deal. So congratulations to you and your team.
Peace in the Middle East.
Peace in the Middle East, yeah.
And every country came together. Every single country came together, and people are shocked by it. But it's an amazing situation. Nobody thought it was going to happen. Thank you very much. And you've been of help, too. You help always. But we are really working more closely together, having to do with Russia, Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I would have thought that would have been easier, because that would be number 8 for me, number 8. And I would have thought the Russia deal maybe would have been one of the easier ones. And unfortunately, last week they had over 7,000 soldiers die unnecessarily. So it's a terrible thing, but I think we'll be getting there hopefully soon.
Yeah, probably we'll go, or you will be going piece by piece. There are only so many agreements that you can get done, and I think this one will be the next big one. Of course, this one needs to stick, and I'm sure it will, because the incentives are all there, and then we'll continue to work. The last time I was here in the Oval Office was with the other European leaders in August, and I think we did a lot of good advancement there on security arrangements. I think you pushed us Europeans hard not to buy oil and gas from Russia, which I think is a very correct decision. Europe just put down its 19th sanctions package. I think Russia is actually right now, both economically and militarily, not in a very strong place. And I think it's because of the commitments that we've made to Ukraine. So, day by day on this one.
We're going to get it worked out.
And we do apologize. It does look like that stopped there midway, but if you just bear with me a moment here, I'm going to see if we can fast forward through that part and see if this picks back up, and it looks like it actually does. So what we're going to do right now is we're just going to head back to this here on Live Now from Fox.
But they'll have to do what they do. Whatever they do is fine. I know this. I didn't do it for that. I did it because I saved a lot of lives. And that's the thing that bothers me so much about the Russia-Ukraine. 7,000 people are dying a week. Young soldiers. They're almost all soldiers of Ukraine and Russia. So in theory, it doesn't affect us, no, but it's a terrible thing. And we'll get that solved, too. But nobody has ever done 8 wars. Nobody's done 8 wars in 30 years, let alone 9 months.
Are you going to step up? Are you going to step up the pressure for a Ukraine deal?
Yeah, we are stepping up the pressure. We're stepping it up together. We're all stepping it up. NATO's been great. The leader of NATO, as you know, Mark, has been fantastic, I think. And he's a fantastic guy. And they are stepping it up. And we're selling a lot of weapons to NATO. and that's going, I guess, to Ukraine for the most part. That's up to them, but they're buying weapons from the U.S. We make the greatest weapons in the world. You buy our planes and a lot of our equipment, and you have a big force. Actually, you have a tremendous force of equipment. So I think we'll get that one done too. Yeah.
President Obama got it for way less.
Mr. President, I'm from Finland. Mr. President, I'm from Finland.
Is he okay?
Yeah. Am I okay?
He's all right.
I'm all right. Mr. President.
Great.
Yeah, President. You are buying icebreakers from Finland.
Yeah.
But what if Russia and Vladimir Putin attacks Finland? Would you defend Finland?
I would. Yes, I would. They're a member of NATO. I would. They're great people, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he's going to do that. I think the chances of that are very, very small. But it's very interesting because you have a military to your size. You have a very powerful military, one of the best. Certainly, we will be there to help. Okay? Okay, please.
Mr. President, thank you. We have a big border, as our president said. How would you exactly defend Finland? And yeah, thank you.
Say what?
How would you defend Finland?
Vigorously.
Can I just add on that? We're very pleased with the fact that we have so much training going on with American soldiers right now, so they're getting experience from Arctic conditions, and we're integrating our militaries together, working not only through the DCA agreement, but other ways as well. We see that day to day in the work that we do, and it's working well.
Okay. Yeah. Please.
Yeah, thank you. How do you see this? I'm from Finland too.
Yeah, a lot of Finns.
It's very impressive.
So, Mr. President.
I like it better than our reporters.
Thank you. So, how do you see the situation in the Arctic developing? Are there going to be any mutual plans for Finland and U.S. to cooperate?
We have a lot of relationships together. I mean, mostly buying our military equipment. They buy a lot of it. They have an order, I guess, 60 planes, 64 F-35s, and many other things too. It's a big order. Big countries don't order that many planes. You know, it's
10 billion.
You have a lot of aircraft, a lot of great military. We make the best military equipment. They buy a lot from us, so it's very good. We're going to work together very closely with Finland and with NATO. We have a very good relationship. As you know, I requested that they pay 5%, not 2%, and most people thought that was not going to happen, and it happened virtually unanimously. We had one laggard. It was Spain. Spain. You have to call them and find why are they a laggard, and they're doing well too. You know, the funny thing, because of a lot of the things we've done, they're doing fine. They have no excuse not to do this, but that's all right. Maybe you should throw them out of NATO, frankly. Please, go ahead.
What are you planning to do with
Tall
that?
gentleman, nice tall gentleman, go ahead with the yellow shirt.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to change gears just really quickly and ask you, you're going to Walter Reed tomorrow? What are you having done? How are you feeling?
I'm meeting with the troops, and I'm also going to do a sort of semi-annual physical, which I do. And I think I'm in great shape, but I'll let you know. But no, I have no difficulty thus far. Is there wood around here? I'll knock on. No difficulty. Physically, I feel very good. Mentally, I feel very good. You know, I did about 6-7 months ago. I do physicals. I like to, when I'm around, I like to check always early, always be early. It's a lesson for a lot of people. But I also did a cognitive exam, which is always very risky because if I didn't do well, you'd be the first to be blaring it. And I had a perfect score. And one of the doctors said he's almost never seen a perfect score. I had a perfect score. I got the highest score. And that made me feel good. When they asked, would I like to do one? I said, yeah. I said, did Obama do it? No. Did Bush do it? No. Did Biden do it? I definitely did. Biden wouldn't have gotten the first 3 questions right. No, Biden didn't do it. Biden should have done it. I'm actually a person that believes that if you're president, you should do a cognitive exam. But the last time I took a cognitive exam, and it was a perfect score. The doctors announced it. And by the way, not the easiest test. The first few questions are pretty easy. Once you get into the middle, it gets a little trickier. And there aren't a lot of people in this room that would get every single question right, I can guarantee
You're putting me in a difficult spot now. Next question.
Mr. Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize for way less than you did, and President Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize for way less.
For doing nothing.
Exactly.
Obama got a prize. He didn't even know what he got. He got elected, and they gave it to Obama for doing absolutely nothing but destroying our country. No, he was not a good president. The worst president was Sleepy Joe Biden. But Obama was not a good president.
Are you going to do something with the
They gave him a prize. How many months after he won the election, then they gave the Peace Prize? Right?
It was right after he was elected.
My election was a much more important election.
Now that you're fixing the situation between Hamas and Israel, are you going to be taking care of the Hezbollah or the Lebanese armed forces to take care of
that? Yeah, we'll be able to do that. That will be. It's a smaller part of the puzzle, but very important part. They have a great new ambassador that I appointed, Michelle. Great new ambassador. So yeah, please.
Mr. President, you said that the hostages will be released on Monday or Tuesday. What's your strict deadline? When do they have to get released?
Well, I think it's going to be Monday or Tuesday. It's going to be around that time. Yeah, they're working on it very hard. They're in very diverse parts of the earth. Okay, they're very, very diverse. Actually, it's. I think they're going to come through. I'd be surprised if they didn't. I think it'll happen.
Mr. President. Thank you, sir. The 19th point of the 20-point plan said that in the future there could be conditions in which the Palestinians might eventually get a state. Under what conditions do you think the Palestinians could have their own state in the future?
We're going to see how it all goes. And, there's a point at which we may do something that would be a little bit different and may be very positive for everybody. But we'll be looking at that at the time.
Mr. President.
I think we'll get to that. I think we'll get to that period too. Yeah, please.
Mr. President.
Yeah, please, Les.
Thank you. Mr. President, the United States has previously said that that Europe would have to take more responsibility for its own security. Are you or the U.S. planning to withdraw some of the U.S. forces from the European soil?
No, but we may move some around a little bit. I'd ask you that question, Pete. Go ahead.
I think that's right, Mr. President. We're very much heartened by your leadership to get NATO to rise up to 5%, which means they can take primary responsibility for defense of the continent. But that doesn't mean America is abandoning NATO in Europe. But we could look at where our troops are postured, what makes the most sense for America and our NATO allies.
We have a lot of troops in Europe, as you know, a lot. And we can move them around a little bit. But no, basically we'll be pretty much set. Go ahead, what's the second?
My second question would be, are you planning to impose more sanctions on Russia at this point?
I might.
Mr. President, your 20-point plan says we will encourage people to stay. Can you confirm that as Gaza is rebuilt, that no one will be forced to leave?
Yeah, nobody's going to be forced to leave. No, it's just the opposite. This is a great plan. This is a great peace plan. This is a plan that was supported by everybody. I mean, as I said, they're dancing in the streets of many, many countries right now. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. No, we're not looking to do that at all.
And Mr. President,
how soon do you think that we could see a full withdrawal?
Mr. President, can you cut through the politics on the shutdown? We had another failed vote today. Can you speak to our viewers from Orlando to Sacramento? What's your message to some of these families tonight facing missed paychecks, potential layoffs, and missed benefits due to the shutdown?
Yeah, I blame the Democrats. They ought to call their local Democrat representative, whether it's a senator or a congressman, and it's their fault. I mean, they admit it, it's their fault. They campaigned on the fact that they'd never shut down the country, but they want to shut it down. And, we have the greatest economy. We're the hottest country in the world right now. I think you'd admit that. The hottest country. We went from a dead country a year ago to the hottest country in the world. So I think they probably don't like that. But we're doing great. I mean, we're doing great. I would say my message is call your local representative, congressman or senator, and tell them to get on the ball. The Democrats have caused this problem.
Can I ask one more? Congressman Randy Fine.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Where are you from?
I'm from Finland.
It's so nice. Uh-oh, here we go. Here we go with a killer question.
I would like to circle back to the icebreaker deal. So Finland and the U.S. are strengthening their economic partnership through the deal. What other areas of cooperation with Finland do you see as possible at this point?
Good question. We're going to be talking about that in a little while. We're going into the next door room, commonly known as the cabinet room, beautiful room, and we're going to be discussing that. But we'll be doing other things. It's a wonderful country with wonderful people. We've had a long-term relationship, but it's never been as close as it is now. We'll be doing other things. Go ahead.
I mean, we've been talking about a lot with the president. I mean, two specific fields where I think Finland has strengths. One is quantum and quantum computing, and we know that that is basically what gives food for thought for artificial intelligence. That's very important. The second one is actually networks. And you know that there are two sort of safe and trustworthy Western networks right now. One of them is Nokia, and the other one is Ericsson. And actually 70% of all broadband in the United States is Nokia. So one of the things that we could work on together is creating the 6G space through networks. And we actually, Nokia has 7,000 people working here in the United States and an American CEO.
Okay, anybody else?
Mr. President.
What is the international stabilization force that's going to deploy to Gaza? What is that going to look like?
To be determined, really, I think there's going to be a large group of people determining what it will be, and a group of people funding it that are very rich countries are going to be funding it. People want to see this work. It's going to work. It's absolutely going to work. And it starts, it's already started. We've signed, as you know. Everybody's agreed. I think Monday is going to be a very big day, Monday, Tuesday, but it's going to be, depending on where you are, it's going to be a very big day. I think it's going to be a day of great celebration. I've never seen anything like it. The streets of so many countries right now, they're just roaring with love and with praise for the people that did this. And these are countries that did this. The whole world came together for this, even Iran. And I really thank them for it. Iran came out and said this is a good thing. This is a very good thing. So it was terrific. It's been a terrific experience for me. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Start moving. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Let's go.
Once again, that was President Trump there taking questions from the media. And this comes just yesterday after we bring you this news here today that the Nobel Committee awarded this year's Peace Prize to Maria Corina Machado amid calls for President Trump to receive the award in the wake of his brokering a historic deal between Israel and Hamas. And there's this post here on your screen from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as he's saying, give Donald Trump the Nobel Peace Prize. He deserves it. But a little bit more about Machado. She's a Venezuelan opposition leader and was described as, quote, a brave and committed champion of peace by the chair of the Norwegian Nobel Committee, going on to say, quote, she's receiving the Nobel Peace Prize for her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela and for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy. Trump has received several high-profile nominations since returning to office. However, the committee's deadline for nominations was January 31st, meaning he could be eligible for next year's prize. So that leads us to this question that we wanted to share on your screen. We do like to ask you, our viewers of Live Now from Fox, to weigh in here. Should President Trump receive a Nobel Peace Prize? We'd love to hear from you, yes or no. You can scan that QR code in the top right-hand corner of your screen, or head to livenowfox.com/connect. So once again, open up your smartphone, open up your camera app, and tap that QR code in the top right-hand corner of the screen there, or head to your browser, search livenowfox.com/connect. We would love to hear from you, and the great thing about this is it will update in real time, so when you do weigh in, we will see those numbers there change on your screen right on cue. So someone voted no there, but we would like to keep this poll open here and hear from all of you at home. And thank you so much for joining us. My name is Christy Matino. I'll be here with you for the next hour or so. We're stepping away for a quick 2-minute commercial break. We'll be right back. welcome in here to Live Now from Fox. We had about 1,600 of you weighing in here over the commercial break on whether President Trump should receive a Nobel Peace Prize. 82% of you saying yes, he should. Now, of course, this is coming after we just shared this news here with you this morning that the Nobel Committee awarded this year's Peace Prize to Maria Corina Machado amid calls for President Trump to receive the award in the wake of this peace deal between Israel and Hamas. I did just want to share again, if you are just tuning in, President Trump, after receiving several high-profile nominations since returning to office, he could be eligible for this soon because the committee's deadline for nominations was January 31st, meaning he could be eligible for next year's prize. But you can still see the numbers changing on your screen there. Now 81% of you saying yes, President Trump should receive a Nobel Peace Prize. 19% of you saying no. We're going to keep an eye on this. Thank you so much for weighing in here with us on Live Now from Fox. We do enjoy hearing from all of you at home. In the meantime, I do want to share some more news here regarding President Trump, as he did have a cabinet meeting just yesterday. I wanted to share some of those comments here with you on Live Now from Fox.
You to sign today. Today is Leif Erikson Day. Leif Erikson was a famous Viking explorer who discovered the coast of Newfoundland over a millennium ago. This is a hugely important holiday, particularly to Scandinavian Americans who celebrate his legacy as a great explorer, as a devout Christian, and really just a fascinating individual in the history of our continent.
Sweden and various other countries. We have a lot of people from Sweden, a lot of Scandinavians. This is very important for Scandinavians, and it's a great honor. Okay, and now you have another one that's,
this is like
I think, very non-controversial, frankly, but some people would say it's controversial. Go ahead.
This is like Explorer Day for you, sir. Today we have your Columbus Day proclamation for Monday, which we're signing a bit early. Christopher Columbus obviously discovered the New World in 1492. He was a great Italian explorer. He sailed his 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, across the Atlantic Ocean and landed in what's today the Caribbean. But this is a particularly important holiday for Italian Americans who celebrate the legacy of Christopher Columbus and the innovation and explorer zeal that he represented.
In other words, we're calling it Columbus Day.
Yes.
That was the press that broke out in applause. Can you believe that? I've never seen that happen before. The press actually broke out in applause. Good. Columbus Day. We're back. Columbus Day, we're back, Italians. We love the Italians. Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Great. Thank you very much.
Have a good one, sir.
So we covered Scandinavia and Italy. Not bad. Now for the rest of the world. So I want to thank everybody for being here. As you know, last night we reached a momentous breakthrough in the Middle East, something that people said was never going to be done. We ended the war on a much bigger basis, created peace. And I think it's going to be a lasting peace, hopefully an everlasting peace. Peace in the Middle East. We secured the release of all the remaining hostages, and they should be released on Monday or Tuesday. Getting them is a complicated process. I'd rather not tell you what they have to do to get them. There are places you don't want to be, but we are getting the hostages back on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, and that'll be a day of joy. I'm going to try and make a trip over. We're going to try and get over there, and we're working on the timing, the exact timing. We're going to go to Egypt, where we'll have a signing, an additional signing. We've already had a signing representing me, but we're going to have an official signing. And the amazing thing is all of the countries over there, from Qatar to Saudi Arabia to UAE to all of them, I mean, the rich ones, the less than rich ones, they've all come together, something which is amazing, actually. They've all come together for this, and they're really probably the best relationships they've ever had. So it's been really something incredible that nobody thought it was possible to get it done. And very importantly, the hostages are coming back. As you know, they consider them hostages. They talk about them as hostages, but there are approximately 28 dead people, mostly young, mostly men, but and boys. I mean, boys. The one woman talked about her baby. Her baby's 25 years old, but you know, to her it's her baby, and we're bringing them home. We're getting everything, and to those parents, the dead young man is just as important, as though this person were alive. It's amazing. I've never seen anything quite like it. I've been very much involved. I've never seen anything quite like it. But it's really peace in the Middle East. And you remember October 7th was terrible, but also from the Hamas standpoint, they probably lost 70,000 people. That's big retribution. That's big retribution. But at some point, that whole thing has to stop. And we're going to see to it. Gaza is going to be slowly redone. You have tremendous wealth in that part of the world by certain countries, and just a small part of that, what they make will do wonders for Gaza. And I think you're going to see some tremendous countries stepping up and putting up a lot of money and taking care of things. But there's tremendous spirit like I haven't seen. And even the news, I won't call it fake news for this purpose, because they really were very fair today, I must tell you, in all cases. But they covered it very well. They covered it very fairly. Everybody loves it, everybody. People that were never giving us a fair shake, frankly, they can't even believe it. They're so, they're amazed by it. A lot of people are. But it was, just everything came together. I think the attack was very important on Iran, because let's say that didn't happen, they'd probably by now have a nuclear weapon, numerous nuclear weapons, and therefore, even if we signed a deal, there'd be a big dark cloud over it, and it wouldn't be the same thing. So Iran's different, but Iran wants to work on peace now. They've informed us, and they've acknowledged that they are totally in favor of this deal. They think it's a great thing. So we appreciate that, and we'll work with Iran. As you know, we have major sanctions on Iran and lots of other things. We would like to see them be able to rebuild their country too, but they can't have a nuclear weapon. So I want to express my tremendous gratitude to the leaders of Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey for helping us reach this incredible day and for being there. They were there with us all the way. And of course, as you know, Saudi Arabia and Jordan and so many. I will tell you, President Erdogan was personally involved in dealing with Hamas and some of the others. He's been great. They've all been really amazing. Indonesia's been amazing. Indonesia's been fantastic. The whole world has come together for this. People that didn't get along, people that didn't like each other, neighboring countries that frankly didn't like each other, but now it's just this moment in time. So we look forward to welcoming the hostages, like you can't believe, home to their families, and that'll take place early next week. We hope Monday or Tuesday. And all Americans should be proud of the role that our country has played in bringing this terrible conflict to an end. And I want to thank, some of the people, JD, you were fantastic, and Pete, you were great. Marco was fantastic. Some of you were very much involved. I'm looking around. So indirectly, I think almost everybody in this room was involved. Susie, I want to thank you very much. You were incredible. You've done an incredible job. So, and yes, John, what you've done was invaluable. CIA, John Radcliffe, and he's done an incredible job. So I want to thank you all, and if I'm missing anybody, I apologize, but you've been amazing. And then you have Steve Witkoff, who worked so hard. And you remember we settled 7, this is number 8, we settled 7 wars, or major conflicts, but wars. And this is number 8. And the one that I thought would be maybe the quickest of all would be Russia-Ukraine, and I think that's going to happen too. But in the meantime, they're losing about 7,000 people a week, and that seems pretty bad. They're losing mostly soldiers, young soldiers. They go out to war, and they're getting killed. And while it doesn't affect us in a lot of ways, we've got a big ocean in between, you don't want to see that happen. It was a big mistake. That war should have never happened. It would have never happened if I were president. So we're here this morning for a cabinet meeting as my administration continues to deliver for the American people, despite the radical left lunatics that shut down our government. You have Democrats that they've lost their way. They have no leadership. We don't even know who to deal with over there. At least they know who to deal with. We have no idea who we're dealing with over there. It's like they have no idea what they're doing. Republicans have voted repeatedly to pass a clean, nonpartisan bill to reopen government at the same funding levels. We're not going to do anything only good for health care. We're really, I think, become the party of good health care. And they keep using health care as a cudgel. They want to try and get everyone thinking about health care. We're the ones that are saving health care. In fact, one of the things we're doing is we're going to be reducing the cost of medicines by 100%, 200, 300, 500%, and even more than that, because as you know, we're in the process of favored nations right now. We've exercised a clause because we were subsidizing the entire world. The entire world pays a fraction of what the United States has been paying. And we've already, numerous Pfizer and other companies have already signed. And other countries are a bigger problem because they've been getting a subsidized rate. We've been paying for years. This has gone on for 30 years. We've been reducing the rate of drugs for other countries because we've been paying much more than we're supposed to. And they used all sorts of ideas like research and development. Well, I said, what about Germany? What about these other countries? Aren't they paying? No, we have to pay research and development. It was all nonsense, and I couldn't listen to it anymore. So it's a very radical, big, tough shift. Very tough. We got a lot of things going on today. But, you know, and you probably heard me say this in my first term, I think it was my third year, we reduced drugs from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. And I was so proud of it. I actually had a news conference to announce it, and it was 1/8 of 1%. Think of that, which is barely a reduction. But it's the first time in 28 years that there was a reduction in drug prices for the year. So from the beginning to the end, it was 1/8 of 1%. And I was so proud of myself. I did something that nobody else could do. But when I started to think about it, I said, it doesn't make sense. And then I'm starting to look at numbers where a pill or a treatment or some pharmaceutical product is selling in Europe for 10% of what we pay for in New York City or in any one of our places, and cities, states. And then I see people leaving for other countries to go buy their pharmaceuticals, where they make journeys to various other countries, including Europe, where they got the best bargains of all. And I put it into it, it's over. And now we're, major, I guess, disputes, but we're winning the disputes by a lot. With the countries, a couple of countries said, we won't do this. I said, well, it's unfair that we're paying 10%, and, you're paying just a fraction of what we're paying for the same product made in the same plant. And they said, well, we're not going to do it. I said, that's okay. You don't have to do it. But I'm going to put a tariff of 9% or 7% or whatever the amount of money is. And I'm going to put a tariff on your country for the amount of money that you're taking advantage of us for. No, you can't. I said, yeah, I can do that. I'm going to do that. And they would immediately agree. And it'd make the tariff substantially more than the number we're talking about. And they would immediately agree. So we have the consent, I think, Bobby, of every country, essentially. They know that if they don't do it, we're going to put a tariff on for double the price, and then they're going to do it. So we never had that before. You never had anybody in here that knew what the hell they were doing, I'll be honest. Really, it makes me angry. Because for years and years, and this started many years ago, and basically we subsidize the world. So this is going to have a huge positive impact on Medicare, Medicaid, even Social Security. But anything where there's pharmaceuticals, drugs involved, it's going to have a tremendous impact. So we're going to get drug reductions of 100%. I told you 1/8 of 1% that I was proud of myself. Now you're going to get 100%, 150%, 200, 300, 400, 500%. You're going to get the biggest drug reductions that you've ever seen. And they're already, I guess they're starting to kick in, but we've made deals with numerous companies where And we're going for the full bore. We want whatever the price is. So that would mean that the world price, because the world is bigger than the United States, a lot more people, but the world price will go up a little bit and our price will come down a lot. So if a pill sells for $10 in London and $100 here, the pill will go to $20 in London and $20 for us. It's pretty simple. And that is a number that nobody can even fathom. It's a little like tariffs. Nobody knew how big they were. Nobody knew until they started seeing the trillions of dollars that have come in. I don't know why they didn't understand it. It's something they should have understood. We were taken advantage of for years with tariffs, and now I don't want to say we're taking advantage, but we've become a very strong country because of the money that's coming in.
All right, so once again, President Trump, as he was holding a cabinet meeting yesterday, as you're taking a live look there at the White House, and we do know President Trump set to have a physical exam at Walter Reed today. He's supposed to leave the White House around 10 a.m. Eastern time. We might get some comments from him. We'll bring that to you on Live Now from Fox. Now, we were also asking you here, should President Trump receive a Nobel Peace Prize? And 81% of you said yes, 19% of you said no. You still can vote on that if you'd like. You can scan that QR code in the top right-hand corner of your screen or head to livenowfox.com/connect. However, we are now hearing from the White House on this, and I wanted to share that post here with you. This is from the Assistant to the President and White House Director of Communications, saying President Trump will continue making peace deals, ending wars, and saving lives. He has the heart of a humanitarian, and there will never be anyone like him who can move mountains with the sheer force of his will. The Nobel Committee proved they place politics over peace. So once again, this is just coming in here after we shared with you that early this morning, the Nobel Committee awarded this year's Peace Prize to Maria Corina Machado amid calls for President Trump to receive the award after this peace deal between Israel and Hamas. That ceasefire now in effect here this morning as you are taking a live look there in Gaza right now. We're stepping away for another break on Live Now from Fox. On the other side, we'll share with you some of the other live events we're going to bring you a little bit later today. We'll be right back. 8:32 on the East Coast, 5:32 on the West Coast. Welcome in here to Live Now from Fox. My name is Christy Matino. Before we head back to this cabinet meeting hosted by President Trump yesterday, I wanted to share with you some of the live events that we have coming up here if you stay tuned in to Live Now from Fox. 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be hearing from House Speaker Mike Johnson as he's addressing reporters on day 10 of the government shutdown. But then at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, as you can see on your screen, First Lady Melania Trump making an announcement. We're unclear as of what at this point, but the White House has been teasing this on social media. At 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Attorney General Pam Bondi speaking on efforts to combat threats of political violence. And at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, President Trump also making an announcement, once again unclear right now as of what that will be about. Stay tuned to Live Now from Fox as we bring all of that to you a little bit later on. In the meantime, let's head back to this cabinet meeting with President Trump.
Because of the money that's coming in. Republicans have voted repeatedly to pass a clean, nonpartisan bill to reopen our government. And remember, at the same funding levels, both parties have supported in the past. So the radical Democrats have chosen to put the economy of our country. We have the best economy we've ever had. We had the best economy in my first term. But we have an economy that's blowing it away, and we have the Democrats that are trying to obstruct. They don't want to have a good economy. I don't think they want to have a good country. That's why they try and stop our law enforcement from doing what we did in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., we have a great, safe, beautiful capital right now. Beautiful. It's so safe. You can walk down the street. Numerous people standing before me were mugged, and you're not going to get mugged anymore. We have a safe capital, one of the safest. We took it from one of the most unsafe places to one of the most safe places in the country. And we also beautified it, and we're in the process of doing even more so. So we're very proud of our capital again. We were embarrassed by our capital. A lot of people being killed. They'd come from Iowa, Indiana, Florida. They'd come up, and they end up getting shot. They're not getting shot. We moved down 1,700 people approximately, right? Approximately 1,700 hardened criminals, career criminals. They moved them out. So Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and the congressional Democrats are holding the entire federal government hostage. I will tell you, a lot of Democrats want to get this thing open too. They do. They're calling us, and they just want to get it open. And all we're doing is saying, just play the same thing until we get it straight. And they don't know how to go about it. I mean, and the problem is we really don't know who the hell is leading the Democrats. You have this AOC, I don't know her at all, but I watched her the other day. She said, well, if they want, they could come to my office. That's not leadership, you know. The only one that challenged her actually was Nancy Pelosi. Nancy's not looking too good. I don't know what happened to Nancy, but she's not looking great. But she was the only one, I give her credit, she was the only one to challenge her. But AOC said that they can come to her office and negotiate, the Republicans. And we're saying, oh, I didn't know she was in leadership. But she's taking Hakeem Jeffries' place, and Schumer's afraid that she's going to run against him. And right now, I don't know, he can change, life is crazy, right? But right now he can't beat, I don't think he can beat anybody. So he'll lose in a primary. I would say he'll retire before he loses in a primary. So I think Schumer's going to retire because he can't beat anybody. His polls are so bad. Meanwhile, the Democrat shutdown is causing pain and suffering for hardworking Americans, including our military, our air traffic controllers, and impoverished mothers, people with young children, people that have to live not the greatest of lives. But we're doing so many tax cuts. We've cut their taxes. The great big beautiful bill, we've cut their taxes at levels that nobody's ever seen. I mean, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. It's been a great thing for a lot of people. They're doing great. Despite all of the damage that it's caused, the shutdown has been, pretty damaging. I mean, it's not yet because it's early, but it gets a little bit worse as it goes along. And we'll be making cuts that will be permanent. And we're only going to cut Democrat programs. I hate to tell you. I guess that makes sense. But we're only cutting Democrat programs. But we're going to start that. And we have Russell, we can talk to you about it if he wants to. But we'll be cutting some very popular Democrat programs that aren't popular with Republicans, frankly, because that's the way it works. They wanted to do this, so we'll give them a little taste of their own medicine. But Chuck Schumer proclaimed this morning that every day gets better for them. No, every day it's actually getting worse for them. And they're having a rebellion in the Democrat Party because they want to stop. And if you saw all of Schumer's, I watched last night like 10 different times over the years, he said, you can't shut down government, you can't shut down, and now he's the one that shut it down. So this is a confession that he's acting not to serve the people, but to serve the partisan interests of his party. And I don't think he's serving them well because they're way down. Look, they just lost an election in a landslide. You know, it was interesting. I watched Kamala, who's a sad figure. I watched her the other day saying the election was very close. I said, no, the election was a landslide. We won the popular vote by millions. We won the Electoral College by, I think, 312 or 315 to 220 something. But there's another one that we won that's probably, that's why when you see the maps are completely red. It's counties. The counties, we won at 2,505 to 525. So 2,500 to 525. That's called one of the greatest, biggest landslides in history. And that's one that people are using now as a primary. But literally, when you see it colored in, the entire country is red representing Republicans. So, you know, they go around, they just lie. They just lie. And everything's a big lie with them. Well, the other side, and the other thing I don't understand is, Christie, I looked at crime numbers in Chicago. They're through the roof, and I have a governor who stands up every day and tells us how wonderful Chicago is. It's just a lie. It's like a con job. It's like Gavin Newsom. He says how well he's doing in California, and they're doing terribly. Population's getting smaller, people are leaving, and other people are coming in, and, you know, I wouldn't say it's an even trade. While the other side is focused on playing games, the Trump administration is focused on creating jobs, bringing down prices, and we've really brought them down a lot. That's the other thing. We're bringing down prices a lot. We're bringing down grocery prices, but the big thing is energy. When you bring down energy, everything comes down, and the energy prices are way down. I see we're down to about $61 now a barrel, and what gasoline's going to be, I think gasoline's going to be below $2 at some point in the pretty near future. It's very low, much lower than it was under Sleepy Joe. And we're restoring law and order in our country. We're restoring it here, but we're restoring it right now. We're in Memphis. We're going to Chicago. We're going to other cities. Many governors are asking us to, including Democrats are trying to ask. I don't know what the big problem is. If I were a Democrat governor, I'd be saying, whatever you can do to get crime down, I'll take anybody. You can bring them in I don't care who it is. A lot of people said that. They interviewed women, these beautiful women in Chicago, black women with a MAGA hat, a red hat. They said, we don't care who he brings in here, but this place is really dangerous. We just want crime to stop. It's true. They don't care. You know, they don't differentiate between the National Guard and the Marines. They don't care. They'll take anybody. And that's the way it is. I mean, they want what we did in D.C., they want to happen to them. And it's happening in Memphis already. I see in less than a week, the numbers are really good. And it'll be great, and it will fix that. We'll go to various other places, and we're going to be stopping crime in our cities. And that's a great thing, and we won't get credit for it, but it's a great thing. We've launched a historic campaign to take back our nation from the gangs and the street criminals, violent repeat offenders, illegal alien lawbreakers, domestic extremists, and savage, bloodthirsty cartels. And very little, by the way, is coming in by water, in case you haven't known. The drugs aren't coming in by water. In fact, we can't even find any boats in the water anymore. We had boats, we were like a subway train loaded up with drugs. Every single boat that you see getting taken out kills 25,000 Americans. Think of that. Because it's pretty tough stuff, but it kills 25,000 Americans. So when you hear that, it's no longer tough. But here in Washington, we've deployed federal law enforcement and National Guard to restore public safety, and we're working to replicate that in numerous places all over the country. And we have a very powerful military. We have a very powerful National Guard. I want to thank the governor of Texas, who has been, as usual, great. Governor Abbott, he gave us 400 troops without even a question. And we have other governors likewise doing what has to be done because they know we have to confront crime. We're directly confronting the sinister threat of left-wing domestic terrorism and violence, including the terrorist group Antifa. You saw that yesterday. We had a news conference. Antifa's out of control in Portland and other places, but mostly Portland in the case of Antifa. And we had people that were really badly affected by them. It was terrible. So one of those things, but we're knocking the hell out of them. And we're looking for the people that are funding them, and those people are going to be just as guilty as the people that smack people over the head with a baseball bat. And I'd like now to ask Attorney General Bondi and Secretary Noem to discuss this a little bit and tell where we are. And then we'll go around the room. We'll go quickly. We're going to go quickly if we can because we have a lot of things to do, including I won't be spending that much time here because I'll be leaving fairly soon for the Middle East. And I'm very honored to be involved with that, I'll tell you. It's a great thing for our country. People are so happy about it. I've never experienced anything quite like it. I've never seen such universal praise for being able to do something. No, it's something that nobody thought was possible, and we're going to end up having peace in the Middle East.
All right, once again, President Trump holding a cabinet meeting there yesterday, and you heard him speaking on the Middle East, as we do know that ceasefire now in effect here this morning. We're going to step away for another break on Live Now from Fox. When we come back, we're going to tell you about President Trump's agenda for the day. He is getting a physical exam at Walter Reed, and we are expected to see the president around 10 a.m. Eastern time outside the White House, and I'll go through those other live events that we have coming up for today. We'll be right back. And welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. We have been sharing here throughout the morning that President Trump is undergoing what he has described as a semi-annual physical at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center today. The visit, which the White House announced earlier this week, comes as President Trump is preparing to travel to the Middle East on the heels of this ceasefire deal in the Israel-Hamas war. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt had described it as a routine yearly checkup, although President Trump had gotten his annual physical back in April. The White House declined to explain why he was getting a yearly checkup 6 months after his annual exam. But in a discussion with reporters yesterday, President Trump said it was a semi-annual physical. The president is scheduled to return to the White House after his visit to Walter Reed, which is located in Bethesda, Maryland. His April physical that he was fully fit to serve as commander-in-chief. That 3-page summary of the exam done by his doctor said Trump had lost 20 pounds since a medical exam in June 2020 and said President Trump has an active lifestyle that continues to contribute significantly to the well-being of the president. So once again, we are seeing on our docket here that President Trump set to leave the White House at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and potentially we are going to be getting a press gaggle. So if the president does speak, we'll bring that to you here on Live Now from Fox. If you are just tuning in, I have been running it through here some of the upcoming events that we have going on here today, and it's a busy day for President Trump's administration. But let's start with this 10 a.m. Eastern time event. We're going to be hearing from House Speaker Mike Johnson addressing reporters on day 10 of the government shutdown. And then at 11 a.m. Eastern time, First Lady Melania Trump making an announcement as well. And as I've shared here, we're still unclear what exactly that announcement is going to be. But at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, we do know that Attorney General Pam Bondi, she's going to be speaking on efforts to combat threats of political violence. And last but not least, President Trump speaking at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Once again, we are unclear also at this time as to what that will be related to. If we do get any more information on either of those announcements there, we'll bring it to you on Live Now from Fox. But a lot to watch here today with the Trump administration. Stepping away for our final break of the hour, we'll be right back. And welcome back to Live Now from Fox. One of the top stories we have been following here today, the Israeli military saying today that the ceasefire agreement with Hamas came into effect at noon local time. That announcement coming after Palestinians reported heavy shelling this morning in northern Gaza. Now, earlier today, Israel's cabinet approved President Trump's plan for a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. And the release of the remaining hostages held by Hamas. And we do know that 72-hour clock is now in effect to return those hostages. As you're taking a live look here in Gaza this morning, what I wanted to do here is just share some comments from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just yesterday. As we did hear from him earlier today, it was not in English, so we wanted to share those comments from yesterday here with you. On the other side of that will be my colleague Josh Breslow taking over for me. My name's Christy Matino. It's been great being with you here on Live Now from Fox.
Momentous development in the last 2 years. We fought during these 2 years to achieve our war aims, and a central one of these war aims is to return the hostages all of the hostages, the living and the dead. And we're about to achieve that goal. We couldn't have achieved it without the extraordinary help of President Trump and his team, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. They worked tirelessly with Ron and his team, our team. That and the courage of our soldiers who entered Gaza and combined military and diplomatic pressure that isolated Hamas, I think, has brought us to this point. I want to personally thank both of you, Steve, Jared. It's been long hours. You worked around the clock, but not only worked, I think you put in your brains and your hearts. And we know that it's for the benefit of Israel and the United States, for the benefit of decent people everywhere, and for the benefit of these families who will finally get to be with their loved ones. And I want to thank you on their behalf as well, and on behalf of the people of Israel. Thank you.
Obviously, bringing the hostages home is it's been a priority for President Trump for a very, very long time, and we've all worked very tirelessly to do that. But I really want to say that this all would not have been possible without the bravery
it's mostly
of
just,
the
I guess,
IDF
people,
and the soldiers, what they've,
curious
about
what's happening and just looking. And then on this side is where we have people in inflatables over here, kind of, I guess, either getting ready or breaking down. But let's turn around this way. And now you hear them making those announcements. Let's actually come across this way to show you what is happening, because on this side, I believe it's counter-protesters right over here holding a U.S. flag, playing their own sort of music. facility. I believe, yeah, that's him. We originally were. Hopefully that's given you a wide scope of what is happening, not just in front of the facility, but around it too. Of course, you see a lot of people dressed in black, wearing shields, holding umbrellas. It's got counter-protesters right over there. And then let's walk across the street. There's a lot of cars around here. But then I want to show you the Portland police officers here. It's a mixture of liaison officers and regular uniformed officers. The officers in white are the liaison officers. They're basically, according to Portland police, they're here to keep the peace between opposing groups. So anytime there is conflict, they step in and try to make that peace. So that is what's happening there. Those officers kind of just patrolling around and keeping an eye out on things. Again, protesters and spectators. Oftentimes we also see people who live at this apartment building right over here just come out and just kind of watch what's happening either from the balcony or from below. So again, that's what's happening on this side, this corner of the street. This is the northeast corner of Bancroft and Moody. But as we come back out here, more members of the media, and then we've had some protesters right here. Let's just go across the street. Where, by the way, what we saw before Secretary Noem came, remember that area where I showed you where there was a campsite and it was removed by Portland police? There was another site right over on this end by counter-protesters. And that was last Friday when we saw them with, a lot of food and a lot of other supplies as they planned to stay here for days. But obviously that changed when Secretary Noem came and police cleared out this entire area. So anyway, that's what's happening around here. I'm going to step off and continue monitoring what's happening. Again, this stream is going on for a little less than 3 hours left now, but it will be on until midnight. So we'll be out here for that. At some point at 10 o'clock, you're going to hear me talk to the anchor. We have another show called ARC PDX that's on KUNP. That's on another channel. And then at 11 o'clock for channel 2, I'll have to go live for that. And then a few minutes after that, I'll have to go live for our Seattle sister station. So just continue watching and enjoy. Oh, the agents are coming out. Sorry. Here. Can we do that again? Sorry. The agents are coming out. Sorry. Yeah. Let's go there. All right, let's just get closer so we can show you the interaction between the protesters and the agents. I think now is a good opportunity to do that. But you can see them marching right over here. You can see them marching right over here, going all the way, pushing everyone, making sure they're all the way up to the sidewalk right there. And now they are facing off with the protesters here. Obviously making way for the people to leave the facility. And mind you that the protesters are keeping their distance from the agents. In the past, we've seen both kind of collide with each other. Not the case right now. Obviously, just someone dancing. And when it'll come more this way, you can actually show the line of protesters between the protesters and the agents right over here, keeping their distance, like I said, from the agents, just facing off with each other. And then this guy just kind of pointing at her. Yeah, we're also seeing just the some of the Border Patrol agents. They're the ones who have the less lethal weapons. The DHS agents, they don't even have anything on their hands, just the gloves. So that's interesting. Yeah, it looks like I haven't seen any cars leave the area. Might be waiting for someone to enter. So we'll see what happens now. And while this is happening, I should mention that there is a helicopter above circling the area. And then, of course, you also have the agents on the roof. So plenty of support that they have. Let's continue watching the movement that's happening. It looks like they are making an arrest. Let's come over here. Looks like they're making an arrest right over here. Yeah. So they just made an arrest right over here. Let's go! Yeah, so they just made an arrest right over there. There's one person arrested right there. Hey, nuclear, come here. See it? Yeah. Yeah, so that person has been arrested now by federal agents. It's unclear why. I'm trying to make it, trying to check if that person is a counter-protester or not. But they do want us to, it looks like it was a counter-protester.
No, that's my buddy.
Yeah, so it is a counter-protester right over here.
I don't know what the fuck. We were just standing there. We were talking to that dude, and he didn't say a single thing to anyone. He was just quiet. I don't know what the fuck. He's 16 years old.
16?
Yeah, he's 16. My buddy.
What was he doing?
Yeah, it's my buddy. What?
What was he doing?
He didn't say a single word. He was just standing.
Get that bit.
No, I'm just here asking questions.
Where was he standing about?
Check out his shirt. I was standing right there.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I don't know where he was
that's
standing.
federal property.
What did I do? I didn't do anything.
So they've arrested another person right over there. See how quickly things escalated. We've seen 2 people being arrested by federal agents. And a lot of these people, both the counter-protesters and the protesters, say they do not know why they were arrested. So we'll have to reach out to DHS for that. And if our web team is listening to this, if you could have our assignment desk check up on that and reach out to ICE to ask them about those 2 arrests. Again, a counter-protester arrested tonight here by DHS agents. And now look at this. They are moving back right now. Keeping a distance between the protesters and them.
Remember, federal property, when we give you the warning, stay off of it.
So he made it pretty clear to federal property. This is something I was talking about earlier. Remember how that's federal property. They don't mess around with that. Now, pepper balls are being fired from the roof. Pepper balls are being fired from the roof. And if we could pan down real quick, again, this is that federal property line right over here. This is the federal property line right over here. They're saying, making it really clear, right over here, along that blue line, right over here is where they're warning people to not go there or they will be arrested, whether you are a counter-protester or a protester. And clearly 2 arrests being made tonight by the Department of Homeland Security. Obviously, getting a lot of people heated up right now. Let's show you the protesters right over there. Obviously, the people in their inflatables and those who are not, all of them just yelling at the DHS agents, not happy about what they just saw. So that really changed the mood tonight. I mean, you've been watching this stream. Some of you maybe have been watching for the tense right
So
now.
enough police that like to serve.
Oh, you know. That's what he said. It was right there. That line right there is that
But nonetheless,
you just can't
very realistic. You are a bunch of weirdos.
Okay. Which guy? Was it the guy that you just Yeah, no. So these people up here,
Yeah, not many pepper balls being fired that we have seen in the past, but a clear amount, enough to cause people to cough and sneeze. I remember a few days ago, more people yelling, but I remember a few days ago they had fired so many pepper balls that I was live on the air trying to talk, and it was difficult to talk because the amount of coughing that many of us were dealing with, but not the case right now. It's not as intense. Not as intense. All right, let's head back. Yeah, clearly that was a big surprise to so many people who not only did they expect just, I guess it was a teenager to be arrested and it was a counter-protester, but also another guy who just in regular clothes, for whatever reason, was taken away in handcuffs. Okay, so let's, we're going to set up back up on the tripod. Yeah, we'll just set back up and wait to see what happens next. Good, how are you? Good. Remember me? Yes, I do. Good. By the way, we are live streaming, so I also have I do. By the way, we are live.
what do you think that's?
I should mention, we did see those two people taken into custody by ICE. I am a little bit cautious about calling that an arrest because we have seen that before, but then later on, PPB came out saying two were detained by the DHS agents. So we'll see what this ends up being, whether it's an arrest or detainment, and whether charges are filed. And for the sake of transparency, I was just talking to my web producer, and he was telling me that our assignment desk is reaching out to ICE to confirm those arrests or detainment, and as for why that happened and if any charges they're facing. I will say, though, usually it takes the federal officials to respond. It takes them about a day or two. So obviously it's late in the night. It's after hours. Here we go with a polar bear taking a picture. Kind of looks like the Coca-Cola polar bear. one on before you have a paper for that.
Damn coat. 9:30. Big shot, big shot. Wait, honey, I want a picture of the mermaid. I love it. Okay, let's go then.
Can't keep the head on. So now I have to waddle around like this. It seems like a fucking battery.
down there too. Be careful. Keep your hands to yourself.
I'm just going to pass by. It's not happening. I wasn't. I was coming by and I saw that. I know that guy.
Take your nose up, Maya. Logically speaking, there's no such thing as legal immigration. Humans don't exist without migration. And these folks, it's not possible. It's not possible to integrate all that other countries on the earth. I carried one in my
For all of you streaming us, we are getting ready for our ARC PDX show that starts at 10. So if you see me kind of just standing around, that's why. You will also hear some of it coming out of my phone. What's up? What do you mean? What? Oh, yeah.
Well, I feel like
All right, so according to Portland police officers, Portland police officers have made 45 arrests since June. We counted 28 of those in June alone. That is according to press releases from the Portland Police Bureau. Now, if you add that up, that means there have been 17 arrests since September 29th because there were no arrests from the Portland Police between late June and September 29th. Now, Portland Police Chief Bob Day has said that they are taking a different approach. Sorry that we were out here days before President Trump made that announcement of the federal troop deployment, and we did not see any Portland police officers. Yes, I do. I got you. Since that announcement, there were a handful of their liaison officers. And then more recently is when we started seeing some of those bike patrol officers. So there is sort of some mixed reaction about the police being here from both sides of the aisle. Some feel like the officers is needed here, but others feel like the presence of Portland police have only increased tensions here. And then, in fact, one counter-protester says that he believes Portland police is not doing enough. Sometimes it feels like the pepper balls are still lingering around. No, I don't need a mask. Speaking of. All right, 1 minute.
Comment vas-tu, Nico? Alors, et la journée se passe bien? Tu es au bureau? Ah, tu bosses pas aujourd'hui? Ah, super. Non, mais écoute, je te rappelais, si tu as le temps, tu sais, tu me parlais une fois de HF, là, tu sais comment il fallait faire ici, tout ça. Voilà, si on a le temps, on a pas fait, tu vas m'expliquer tout ça. D'accord, ok, ça marche. Allez, bonne journée. Non, ça sera pas. On va dire. Voilà, Marie. Ok, merci beaucoup. Oh non, pas à hauteur, ça. Allez,
hey, good evening, Deb. Yeah, we have seen already 2 arrests made by federal officers. In fact, take a look and you're going to see a pretty peaceful time right now, just some music and a lot of people wearing inflatables. But earlier we did see officers made an arrest of a man who I confirmed it is a counter-protester. One person who was with him says that the person who was arrested is a teenager, a 17-year-old. And then moments later, we saw another man being arrested by those DHS agents. We've reached out to ICE asking them why they arrested them, and of course, we'll let you know when we hear from them. But yeah, that's pretty much what has been happening here. Just that is the only incident that I am aware of. Other than that, it has been peaceful. I'm sorry, I'm having some communication issues. I cannot hear you right now. Oh, that's right. So the number of arrests that have been made, so according to Portland Police, there were 45 arrests made since the protest started in June. For our count, there were 28 alone in June, 28 arrests in June, but between that time and September 29th, there were no arrests made. And that would mean there were 17 arrests made since September 29. So that is what we have counted. Yeah, we have noticed a significant change. So what you're looking at is the Portland Police liaison officers. They wear these white shirts. That is who we saw when President Trump first made that announcement about the troop deployment. Before that, we were here a few days before that, and we didn't see any police officers. But then, since last Thursday, we saw a much heavier presence of Portland police officers, especially those on bikes. It's mixed reaction from both sides. In fact, some believe that those officers should be here because they create peace around here. Others feel like they create more tension. In fact, one counter-protester says that Portland Police is not doing enough, so plenty of mixed reaction. Yeah, earlier this week, Chief Bob Day met with Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, and he agreed with her that the behavior and environment around the ICE facility needs to change. And just today, he said that there are more police officers out here tackling with arrests and, of course, any sort of conflict that has been happening. And by the way, coming up on KT News at 11, we're going to hear from him and those protesters. I'll send it back to you, Deb. Thank you. Sorry about that. To the Bluetooth in the car. So that's what happened. That's live TV, guys. But anyway, all right, I will be back for the 11 o'clock hit on K2 and an 11:05 hit on Como, Seattle. So in the meantime, I will leave it to you guys watching on our stream. Thanks for that, David. Yeah, I put it back.
Oui, ça sonne bien.
Out of the street saying you cannot block the street, while at the same time there are police cars, and maybe we will go out there and show them right now, but there are police cars that have completely blocked the street at the same time. You're not allowed to block the street because we need to block the street, is essentially what is happening out here. Nana, thank you very much for talking to us. We'll let you get back to your stream. Yeah, we will. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. So yes, that's Nana. She's been out here every day, just like we have. Out here every day. It's the independent voices. That is just someone who was an innocent grandma who said, I need to go out there and show people what is actually happening on the ground because the media isn't doing a good enough job, isn't showing you every day what it's been like here on the ground, leaving blind spots in their coverage. Yesterday we saw so many national cameras out here just because there were National Guard troops walking up and down on the sidewalk within the ICE facility inside the illegal fence that they have built here behind us. So with that happening, that was enough to get the media out here. But now with a federal judge ruling that limiting the deployment of the National Guard or temporarily blocking them from being deployed here in the area, now we don't see that national coverage. It's just local outlets out here and us, the independent media, giving you this look. John, is something going on that I should? Okay. Yep. Yeah, putting our sunglasses back on the camera here to give you a bit of a clearer look. So much. Thank you.
Green shirt.
Green shirt. Protesters there giving a countdown and then cheering free speech because it just officially hit 9 a.m. So now it's okay, according to the Village of Broadview, to be out here actually protesting. Everything that you've seen up until this point, technically not allowed. And now the protesters cheering that it's now free speech o'clock. It's hit 9 a.m. Their protest will be allowed out here until 6 p.m., at which point, as we've seen on previous nights, police come out, they start by giving people warnings, then they say, we'll issue a citation if you continue to stand here, and then after that, escalating to arrest. All right, John, you got.
How we doing?
Yeah.
We got to talk, but I know, dude. We were in the trenches a couple weeks ago getting tear gas. So.
Yes. Yeah, John has made friends here because John has lived here on the ground in Chicago. A lot of protesters know his face because, getting tear gas right alongside you guys. Yeah. Johnny, we pulled you aside to talk to you because you had a little bit of an interaction with police this morning. Walk us through what happened and about what time was it?
So I got here around 7-ish, and we, over the course of the couple weeks, right, we've been told we can't go here, we can't go here. We are doing our best to stay in accordance with the laws. Originally, we were just walking on this sidewalk, but now we've been told we can't even do that, and they've set up these barriers. So they pushed us this free speech zone over on Beach Street specifically.
And something's happening. Sorry, Johnny, we're going to interrupt. Yeah, walk with us, and we'll keep talking a little bit as we go. But we're just trying to keep an eye on what's happening. We're seeing a lot of people raise their hands up over here. John, you can flip the camera and show folks what's actually going on here. We've got people who are piling up against the barricades near here, holding their hands up. We're going to try and get closer, see what's actually happening. Looks like it's the prayer group has come right up to the line here and is talking to Illinois State Police.
People doing communion went over and ISP stopped them. I think they were trying to go to the fence.
Yeah, it sounds. What I'm hearing down here is that some of the faith leaders approached. We're trying to walk down to the ICE facility fence, and we're trying to deliver communion down there to the ICE facility, but we're stopped by Illinois State Police. Those faith leaders who were attempting to deliver communion are off on the side talking to Illinois State Police.
Immigrants are welcome here. We are the body of Christ. The body of Christ is detained. We are the body of Christ. The body of Christ is detained.
Faith leaders being escorted back to the crowd now. Apparently not being allowed to approach the ICE facility, where I'll note that the gate to the facility is, or at least was open shortly. There's only about 3 guards down there right now.
Back to the table and we're going to chant. We are the body of Christ. The body of Christ is detained.
The prayer group now making their way back towards where their original service was. Yeah, he's over there.
The body of Christ is detained. We are the body of Christ. The body of Christ is detained. We are the body of Christ. The body of Christ is detained. We are the body of Christ. The body of Christ is detained. We are the body of Christ. The body of Christ is detained. We are the body of Christ.
Hey, man.
The body
Mind if
of Christ.
we go back to what we were doing there?
We are the body of Christ.
I'm going to take just a moment to reset for folks who weren't here from the very beginning. We're outside of the Broadview, Illinois ICE detention facility, where protesters gathered for their normal Friday morning protest of ICE's Operation Midway Blitz out here in the Chicagoland area. As part of that, we saw protesters enter here into this, what protesters have taken to calling the designated free speech zone, this concrete cordoned off area where protests are only allowed. You can't be in the street, you can't get any closer to the ICE facility, which is about a block to my right. During that, we saw some protesters growing frustrated with the constraints that have been put on them here. They attempted to walk into the street to block what is Harvard here, to keep just to try and prevent ICE vehicles from passing. And as they did, they were met with force by Illinois State Police, pushed back with batons, and police attempt to make several arrests during that. Tensions here have cooled somewhat, but I'm standing here with Johnny. Johnny, we had just started our conversation when there was some commotion here that we had to show the folks what was happening. But I'm going to start from the beginning again. Walk us through, what time were you here, and what was this altercation that you had with police this morning?
Yeah, so around 7 o'clock we got here. Over the course of the last couple weeks, we have done our best to make sure we're operating within accordance to the laws. Originally, we started on the sidewalks in Beach Street. We would stay on the sidewalks as well, but like you were mentioning before, they've kind of designated specific areas in which we are allowed to protest, and we've called them free speech zones, essentially. I was one of the first individuals to arrive at the free speech zone this morning, and we were just there. It was only a handful of us. We were very, very calm, being peaceful, and out of nowhere, Broadview Police, they came up to us and they said we had to disperse, and essentially that free speech was only allowed from 9 to 6 p.m. And when we said that we were just operating with the same guidance that we've been told week after week after week, for some reason I was detained. I was given a citation, which I have to appear in court for refusal to disperse.
Yeah, I saw you had a copy of that citation. They handed you a physical paper ticket there right in that moment. Was there any, did they detain you at all? Were there handcuffs, anything like that?
Yeah, so I was handcuffed.
Handcuffed just for standing out here in the designated protest zones.
Standing in the specific areas that are not that big, to be specific, and being in the areas that they keep on telling us this is where you should be if you want to protest, right? Which, it's kind of sketchy just in the first place, right? But I was there. I was told if I don't leave the designated protest area, then I would be arrested. And they arrested me, or they detained me, put me in handcuffs, and then they gave me a citation. And essentially it told me if I refused to leave the area and I couldn't come back until 9, I would be given a state citation, and then there would be further consequences.
Oh, we're hearing boos from the crowd. That's, again, just for a passing vehicle. Vehicles passing there on Harvard Street get the most animated reaction from this crowd, just because most of them are headed towards the ICE facility at the end of the block. So that's why you hear that swelling of boos there in the background. Sorry, Johnny. But yeah, so you were told that you would get a state citation. Did they warn you about arrest, being taken to jail, anything like that?
Yeah, I would be arrested again, and there would be further consequences if I stayed in the area and didn't somehow manifest, by 9. But like you heard us cheering, it is so crazy that in the United States of America, the country that screams about how free we are, that we can't even protest. We have designated business hours of when we're allowed to protest. It is an insane thing to think about, to be honest.
How long have you been coming out here? Was this your first protest? You've been out here for a while? Well, we know you've been out here for a while. You got tear gas right alongside John. Yeah. How long have you been coming out here to protest?
Early September, to be honest. Ever since this thing kind of started, I'm from an immigrant family. My mom's Mexican. She's from Zacatecas. And being an immigrant in this country, being a Latino, this is part of our lives. This isn't just right now. Yes, this is bad. And I want people to know, yes, I'm aware how bad this is, but realistically, our entire lives have to deal with a sense of fear of being deported. I've had family that were deported the last time Trump was elected, and it ruined my family. It teared us apart. And seeing what's happening to families here, it hurts because I don't want them to go through what I went through. And I'm also a teacher, and I have students that are immigrants, and I know that they would skip days because ICE was in our communities, and the fear that I saw in their eyes just hurts so much because I've felt that fear. I know how it feels to think you may lose everything, to be honest.
You talk about how your family was torn apart. Can you give us a sense of what that's like on a micro level? Like maybe just a few examples of ways that your family's not the same after someone's forcefully deported like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of difficult, if I'm being honest. So when my uncle was deported, he left behind a 1-year-old daughter, and he hadn't been to Mexico since he was like 5 years old. So he had grown up completely in the United States. And when he was deported, my mother said she was going to go back to Mexico and live in Mexico. From that point on, my grandparents spent half the year in Mexico. And over the last couple of years, my grandfather's health started to deteriorate, and unfortunately he died not too long ago. I'm sorry.
Hey man, take as much time. If you need to take a few breaths, that's fine.
It was just really difficult because had that not have happened, I would have been able to see my grandfather in his last couple of moments. But because of that, it hurts. It hurts a lot, and I'm so sorry. But I know how much pain people are going through, and no one deserves to go through that, and I'm so sorry.
So how much of you being out here is about your personal experience expressing frustration at the federal government, your rage at the federal government, and how much of it is standing in solidarity with people who are being victimized right now on the streets of Chicago and the surrounding communities?
It's everything. It's everything. I can't separate my family from the other families. We are all together in this, and my experiences are similar to those who are currently experiencing the same thing, the fear, the anguish, the sense that, everything could be torn apart in a single moment, right? So I'm here for my students, I'm here for my family, I'm here for my community, I'm here for anyone who's ever felt just the sense that, the sense of like impending doom, essentially, and I want to make sure that we stand in solidarity with those people, to be honest.
You described there, you're here for your family, your students, your community. It's a lot of weight, a lot of responsibility in this moment to act. I think that comes across. What are the emotions that you're feeling with all of that pressure to act in this moment, to be here, to stand up, to have your voice heard?
I'm a teacher. We bear the burden of our students, their struggles are my struggles, and their accomplishments are my accomplishments, right? So realistically, being selfless, just being a regular person, and recognizing the responsibility that you have of your, of your students, this is something that kind of comes easy to me, to be honest. I know all the responsibility, but I encourage it because I am somebody that's willing to stand up for people, even if it's hard, even if it, requires me to get detained in the morning. If I can help someone, if I can make someone feel better, know that someone is out here standing up for them, I do it in a second. I do it in a heartbeat.
One thing that I wanted to ask about was about DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said yesterday that the Department of Homeland Security is going to double down on its operations here in Chicago and open up more ICE detention facilities. What does that do to your resolve? I mean, what does it do to your morale in this moment?
Doesn't matter. We're still going to be out here. Chicago's united. We have a mission to protect our neighbors, protect our communities, and we're not going to stop fighting. And there's a beautiful thing happening right now where everyone is working together and doing their best to look out for their communities, look out for everyday people. And it's beautiful. It's going to continue to happen. We don't care. Kristi Noem can say whatever she wants to say. Donald Trump can do whatever he wants to do. We will continue to fight because this is what's right. This is the right side of history.
How does it make you feel to see Broadview continue to limit your ability to protest out here? Maybe a better question is, in the weeks that you've been coming out here now and protesting, how has it changed down here? Like, how close to the facility were you originally able to get?
So we were like right on Beach Street, so pretty much at the doors. And as the weeks have progressed, there have been some confrontations with ICE, and basically through tear gas, through pepper spray balls, shooting indiscriminately at our faces. They've pushed us back. But with coordination with state police now, but also Broadview Police Department, like, they have blocked us off. They have, you know, kettled us to these specific areas. And regardless of where they tell us to go, we're going to still manifest. We're still going to be here. It doesn't matter, because we're not doing it for us. And it's easy, because if we're going to go out and help somebody, we're going to make somebody feel like they're being heard, they're being listened to, they're being stood up for. Do it in a second.
The other thing I wanted to get your reaction to is yesterday we saw a whole bunch of federal court rulings come out that were against the Trump administration and what they're trying to do here in Illinois. Perhaps the headline grabber has been that the National Guard going to be at least temporarily barred from deploying here in the state of Illinois while it's federalized. Also saw some rulings about the use of force on protesters, on press, and also that ICE agents need to be identifiable in some way. What does that mean to you? What does that do for your resolve, for your feelings about how things are going for the future of Chicago and what's happening here?
We'll see if they do that. We'll see if they follow it. I mean, to be honest, if you're looking at everything that's happened over the last couple months, like, there is a sense of impunity, right, with ICE, and that they can act in any way, which way that they want, right? So I'm not going to hold my breath. I think that they're going to continue to do the things that they want to do. And regardless of that, Chicagoans are going to stand up. We're going to fight for our people. You know, I hope that they do follow the law and follow the court rulings. But it's ICE, and we've seen them act in ways that violate the basic rights, our basic constitutional rights. I'm not going to hold my breath, but, you know, we shall see.
We'll see, indeed. So we've gotten quite a bit of your feelings about how Broadview is handling the issue of free speech out here for protests. What do you want to see from leaders in this moment?
I want to see leaders have a backbone. I want them to fight against ICE today, tomorrow, 10 years from now. I don't want people to give up on this fight. Yes, it's in front of us. Yes, it's in our face right now. But the fight against ICE, the inhumane treatment of immigrants in this country, our immigration system in its totality is broken, right? And in the first Trump admin, a lot of Democrats stood up and they fought against ICE. But then when Biden came into power, we witnessed Democrats vote for record level funding for ICE. So I want consistency. I appreciate the support, I appreciate the solidarity, but we have to keep it consistent. I want them to really stand up, not just because it's good for the cameras, but because it's good for history, because it's good for their conscience, their morals.
Is there anyone in particular you want to call out that you say, hey, I need more from you in this moment as a leader?
A lot of them. Specifically, my representative, Mike Quigley. I do not like the fact that you voted for increased funding for ICE. And even now, in the north side, we are witnessing ICE helicopters fly around our communities. And this specific facility was funded by money that he voted for. I found an audit report in 2023 that showed that the money that they voted for in 2022 specifically made this facility continue to manifest, continue to
continue to operate.
Yeah. So I want consistency. I want people to be able to be on the right side of history, not just because it's politically advantageous for them, but because it's the right thing to do.
Johnny, I end every interview with the same question, which is there any question I haven't asked you that I should have? Anything I haven't given you the opportunity to say that you would like to? And barring that, any parting thoughts that you just want to leave our audience with while you head the platform?
I appreciate everyone's work in the community for doing so much for our immigrant population, but I want everyone to make sure that this fight will not stop tomorrow. It will continue on for the following years because we deserve an immigration system that works for everyone. I am actually a candidate for the Illinois 5th Congressional District, and I believe that we deserve an immigration system that allows people to exist in comfort, to provide them with a path to citizenship. I believe in better things. And I, as a teacher, I, as a regular person, I believe we need regular people to vouch for the problems and for solutions to help everyday people.
Johnny, thank you very much for the time. John, I'm going to hand you the microphone just so I can get his contact information, maybe follow up.
All right, good morning, everyone. It's John. Let's get to the singing.
Elle vient juste de commencer. Il faut respecter les soutiens. D'accord. Si tu dois bouger, tu peux ça va utiliser la version du Ok, ça marche. Oui, oui, oui. Ben, je pense qu'une c'est suffisant. Toi, tu dois aller avec moi.
Absolutely, man.
Mais c'est pas toi suffisamment de batterie, c'est bon.
C'est pas trop sur ça.
Ok, c'est gentil, merci beaucoup.
If you have not done so already, smash the like button and share this live stream. We're going to be going live again in a few hours from now. We're going to be heading downtown where there is going to be a protest. There's two court hearings for protester Dana, the veteran who was pushed down by Border Patrol a few weeks ago, and the court hearing is today. And then also the woman who was shot by ICE. There's a court hearing and a protest in support for her and the other person who was is being charged. So that protest we're going to get to. It's going to be noon Central, so that's 1 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you tune back in and subscribe so you get the notification. He's not a cop, must be press, I don't know. Or just protester.
Thank you, John, there for holding down the fort while we got some people who were talking to us, trying to do in addition to the interviews, building up source networks and things. This is things that we're doing in real time. You can start to get some of that behind-the-scenes look at how hard we're working down here. If you've been watching us for a little while, you saw us when we were right down in there by the Illinois State Police. They were shoving me with their batons as they were trying to push back the protesters. They weren't making a distinction between press and protesters, and weren't afraid to use force against us. And if you appreciate that on-the-ground look, that eye-level look with what is happening down here, please go to statuscoup.com/join. Give us $5. You see people trying to liven up the mood down here, make things feel a little bit better. But yeah, certainly, if you can continue to support our work, we would appreciate it so much. For just $5 a month, 16 cents a day, being able to keep us here on the ground doing this work, bringing you these stories that now we're seeing some national media attention since the National Guard was threatened to be brought in, but for so many days, it was just us, a couple of other independent media outlets, maybe the odd local TV camera, but it was really just us on the ground here. John's going on 3 weeks here. I've been in and out over the last 2. And that work is, it's not nothing to be down here. We have to afford hotels, food, the camera equipment. Please, and we have families to support. If you are able to keep us on the ground doing this important work, statuscoup.com/join. We've seen now that the prayer service has ended down here, and it's turning into more of the traditional protest chants that sort of thing.
Square, man.
About why you wanted to be out there? You want to do it right here? Okay. So we're standing right amid the prayer group that has come out here every week, and you can hear the instruments that they are still playing, the chants that they are doing. And sorry, it's very loud down here. Hopefully the microphone does a pretty good job of blocking out the background sound. But I'm standing here with Lydia. Lydia, why don't you were just telling me what church you're with. Can you walk us through that, please?
Yeah, so I am a pastor at First United Church of Oak Park, which is pretty nearby.
Nearby. Why? You are also telling me first time out at a protest like this. Why did you feel compelled to come out here today?
Yeah, this is my first time at the Broadview facility. I got a message from other pastors that today there would be communion, and I have wanted to come out and support and be a part of this demonstration, and today felt like the perfect day to come out. There are so many clergy here making a statement that all God's people should be free.
Was any of that you say, like today was the perfect day? What made it the perfect day? I mean, is there something was it something in the news? Was it what was it that said today is the day?
Honestly, today is probably too late. Today, I wish that I had been out here from the beginning. So when I say today is the perfect day, I mean today is the day I finally got myself over here.
Better than tomorrow is what you're saying.
Today is always better than tomorrow. Exactly.
For folks who aren't standing down here, I don't know how much of it comes across, the energy down here. Can you try and explain to people, as a first-time person out